So welcome back to Golf, Goals and Grapplers. This week we're going to talk a little about football because Prem kicked off. A lot of things happened. I think, in our group chat we've already talked about a few of the controversies from the weekend, but I think it'd be good to discuss it on the pod. So let's start with VAR.
The biggest controversy for me is the fact you're still calling it the Prem and not the Premier League.
Oh, sorry, the PL. Let's get it right, the
anyway,
PL.
So VAR.
Let's start with VAR, yeah.
Apart from the Man United Wolves game, I thought VAR was alright.
That was the standout one decision which brought VAR back into the limelight. Now, interestingly, I mean, quick show of hands, who thought that was a pen?
Which one? Well, the Man United one?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Well, that's what's interesting because when I saw it real time, you would think that's a free kick all day long, right? But I distinctly remember last season Liverpool not getting a pen for the same reason, but I can't recall the game. So if anybody can let me know, there was something similar where the keeper took out a Liverpool player and they didn't give it. And they give and Gary Neville give a reason like it was a genuine attempt at the ball or something like that.
But it doesn't matter.
That's why I thought they weren't going to give it. So I wasn't surprised when he didn't give it, but then the world was surprised.
But if you had a genuine attempt for the ball, but then you hit someone in the shin with your studs, so your foot's high, but you genuinely went for the ball, that's still a red card.
I just think it's different for keepers.
It's madness though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the only thing that was a saving grace there is that the attacking player didn't look like he was getting anywhere close to the ball when it came in.
No, which I think might have helped him.
Which might have helped the situation.
My problem is, if VAR are getting involved, then the referee has to go to the screen and have a look. Unless it's not a clear and obvious error, the referee has to go to the screen and have a look. And all VAR has to say is, I recommend you go to the screen and have a look and let him make his own decision.
No, because if VAR do loads of stuff in the background to keep the game flowing, they'll check stuff and it'll say check over and they keep the game flows. And if you're saying send the ref for a look, he's going to be going to the screen 15 times a game.
No, but that's not what I'm saying though. That is a clear and obvious error. The fact that Wolves should have had a penalty. So therefore, VAR needs to say to that referee, I recommend you go and have a look.
But that's the problem. VAR didn't say it was a clear and obvious error. That's why they didn't send him to the screen.
So why have those officials been stood down for the weekend?
Because the general feeling is they made the wrong decision and it should have been called.
And
VAR didn't.
That's what's interesting though, because in that situation where they've clearly admitted that there's a mistake there. What happens? What should happen in that situation? Because Wolves have been denied an opportunity to get an equaliser in that situation, which is a point. Which if they go down at the end of the season because of a point, are they going to go? Well, yeah, but we stood the rest down for the week after.
I totally agree.
Doesn't
Who's
make sense.
accountable?
Yeah,
like you can destroy. If that scenario Christian said, if Wolves end up going down by a point or going down on goal difference, and they would have scored that pen at Old Trafford and got a point, right? That can destroy that football club.
Absolutely.
Financially, everything. It might take them 15 years to get back in the Prem. Like, just no one's accountable. Like,
and that's the problem. Not only with VAR but with officials as well. Yeah, standing them down for a game, that's irrelevant if a team goes down.
Yeah.
Then if you're going to stand them down for a game, stand them down for the fucking season.
Yeah,
but even then, it still don't make a difference to that one team, does it? Like, but having said that, what would you do? Because you can't go back and just go, all right, well, a day later, let's get everyone back on the pitch and let's take a penalty.
And that's the whole point.
There's nothing you can do about it at that point, can you?
Did you see there was a thing in Germany a couple of years ago when VAR came in, and it was half time, right? And the referee blew for half time, and VAR said to the referee, "You need to go and have a look at the screen because you missed the decision right on half time." The players were pretty much down the tunnel. The referee looked at the screen, and then he gave a penalty after half time.
Yeah, but the VAR getting it wrong or the ref getting it wrong is in the rule book is if VAR get it wrong, then you act as if VAR's not there or VAR's gone down, because then it's the decision on the field that stands, and therefore the ref said it want a pen.
So
that's it.
So if that's the case, then we get rid of VAR and leave it up to the referee again?
No, because like you say, VAR are there for clear and obvious errors. They didn't feel it was clear and obvious. So therefore, the ref just played on.
I mean, this is a completely whole podcast within itself.
Yeah, because I still think, obviously, VAR is very subjective still. There is the rule book, obviously, but each ref will give a different decision depending on who's in the VAR box, who's on the pitch, and you'll get a different result with different people. It's still human error.
I still think one of the biggest problems with VAR is you don't have an ex-professional player in Stockley Park watching the game to make a decision or talking about a decision to a referee to say, I think this is this because, and then the referee can say, well, no, this is what it is. You can't have, after the game, the head of the referees ringing up Wolves to say, I'm sorry, we made a wrong decision. That is utter bullshit.
I don't think having an ex-pro in there would necessarily make a difference or make a change of it. I think it's just the rules are
there to be broken.
Not necessarily direct in terms of what it means. Like, look at all the rules in the history around handballs and like things like, well, the Liverpool-Chelsea game, for example.
Nicholas Jackson.
I get his hand was really close to his body, but it changed the direction of the ball in the box, and his hand didn't need to be there. So, some refs would give that, and some wouldn't.
So the thing with that is, VAR said that it got flicked on by a Liverpool player, and because it's got flicked on, and he's already in a position, he can't move quick enough because it's been flicked on. If that was direct from a corner and his arm's like that, then it'd get given straight away.
I thought that was a pen.
Yeah, me too.
I thought Villa's was a pen from a VAR perspective. Those were the two big ones for VAR. But I want to move on. I want to talk a little bit about the transfer market, which has just gone absolutely wild. Does anyone want to comment on, obviously we're a week into this now, this Chelsea-Liverpool story, Caicedo, you've now got Lavia in the mix that Liverpool are also interested in. What's the impact on Liverpool for not getting those players, and what does it say about like Liverpool's power anymore?
It's interesting that you say that, because I've seen a lot around this, but I don't think it says anything about Liverpool's power. I think we massively miss Edwards in that role, in that sporting director role. I think he pulled up trees with some of the transfers that he got us in the past.
And Julian Ward.
But it's clear that these players are going to Chelsea for money and for longevity of contract, because they haven't outperformed over Liverpool. They were worse than them last year. We've finished above them in the last 6 seasons. We've beat them in finals over the last couple of years. So it can't be because Chelsea are a better team or in a better position than Liverpool.
I think a lot of it is down to location.
100%.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that.
If you ask a young 19-year-old kid, where do you want to live? Liverpool or London?
Yeah, London's a massive pull.
Especially foreign players, because foreign players think that the whole of England is London and then everything else.
Yeah.
They're going to pick London.
It's a massive pull
all day long.
Of course they are.
I get that. 100%.
So I think there's that. I do think, from Liverpool's perspective, it's damaging. Because I think what was evident in the Chelsea game was, the first 25 minutes, Liverpool could have put that game out of sight. Salah was narrowly out offside to make it 2-0. I think that would have killed the game. I think they would have had enough to see the game through. But what came massively evident for the final hour was just how badly Liverpool needed DM.
Yeah.
They bullied us. They bullied us for about 60 mins.
Yeah.
All over the park.
The thing is, though, you say about Mo Salah's offside, Ben Chilwell had exactly the same.
Yeah, they both had one goal ruled out. I think at 2-0,
Yeah,
I think Liverpool play a different game at 2-0.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, firstly, Liverpool played Chelsea at the perfect time, because Chelsea are only going to get better, but also Liverpool will get better as well when they sign a defensive midfielder. But there is a massive, massive problem with Liverpool's balance. I don't think, as much as we need a defensive midfielder, we also need a defender.
In what place? Centre back, right back?
Either right back or centre back.
Yeah.
Because if you get a right back, say Cancelo, you just put Trent in midfield.
Well, this is what I was going to say. What would be your midfield three now? Say we don't sign anybody. Well, we won't sign anybody probably in time for the weekend. So do you then change that? Because I think that midfield, as much as it looks good on paper in terms of Gakpo, McAllister and Szoboszlai, it doesn't work because there's no one in there that's defence-minded. So do you then change that so you have someone like Trent in there with two of them, and then you put someone right back, for example, Gomez, or what do you do?
I don't think Trent gives you what you need.
But does it give
midfield.
you more of what you need than what we had?
No, because
Do you not reckon?
you need a defensive midfielder, and as well, equally as well, we're looking quite disjointed at the back. Like Van Dijk is a shell of his former self at the minute. Robertson looked all over the place. We got destroyed down that left side, Van Dijk and Robertson's side, and I thought that's a problem. But then, are you saying are they exposed because they don't have a DM in front of them?
Yeah,
I think massively.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they are exposed because of that. 100%.
Yeah, so I think going back to your question, if we don't get a defensive midfielder before the window shuts, you're going to massively struggle. And if you get fourth place, that's an achievement for Liverpool this season. I think that's how important getting someone in that position is.
I think we'll definitely get somebody between now and the end of the window, but it's are we going to get someone of the quality that we need?
Endo.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, there's rumours of this guy from Stuttgart that I've never heard of. 30-year-old.
This Japanese guy.
Japanese guy called Endo. Yeah, I don't know what he does, how good he is.
I mean, the thing is, yes, you're getting forced into buying a player, but it's Liverpool. Like, they'll have done their homework. They'll have had a list of about 10 DMs.
Yeah.
And Caicedo was top. Lavia might have been second. Yeah, we'll work your way down the list. Who's available? Who can we get in?
I know we're linked with Amrabat from Fiorentina, who had a very, very strong World Cup and has been linked with Man United throughout the full window. He's a great player, and he is essentially a younger version of Fabinho, and will just sit and sweep up.
The one thing I don't understand, though, is like historically in the market, we've been very good at identifying somebody, going out and getting them, and it's not becoming public in terms of bids and what we've done until they're pretty much signed, sealed, delivered. Whereas over the last couple of weeks, this whole Caicedo thing, where the 110 million came out of nowhere that we bidded for him.
Yeah, it's not the way we normally operate.
And then suddenly he's gone to Chelsea. Like, it just seems really sloppy.
I think for me, the Lavia one is a bigger problem. We went in with 35 mil. They said no, we want 50. Went in with 42, whatever it was. No, we want 50. Went in with 48. No, we want 50. And then
he's gone for 60.
And then we're going with 60, and then he goes for 58.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, but the thing is now is we'll never know the ins and outs of transfers anymore. There's a lot of undisclosed fees. There's a lot of, yes, it's 58 mil, but you'll get 30 mil up front. If he plays Champions League, if he plays this many appearances, you'll get another 5 million. Like, you don't know the ins and outs of the deal now, yeah. You've obviously got to factor in financial fair play. So people like Chelsea are trying to get people on 8-year contracts, so the residual value of the players are spread out over long periods, so that then you can offset that against other income. Like, they've sold Mason Mount for 60 mil. So I know Chelsea have nearly, in the last 8 months, have done, if they bring in Lavia, they'll have done about £900 million.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's in uproar saying that they're violating financial fair play. Well, actually, against the business model of financial fair play, they're okay this season because they've offloaded Havertz and Mason Mount for over 100 mil. So they're okay in terms of financial fair play and wages.
Yeah.
That business model is not sustainable.
No.
Unless they start bringing in significantly more revenue from shirt sales, marketing the team, or getting in the Champions League, in 3 years' time, Chelsea will collapse on their own sword.
The thing is as well, though, they've sold, and I'm sure we'll come on to this in a minute, they've sold a lot of players to Saudi. They've a lot of players on big money, Koulibaly, Mendy, Kante, have gone to Saudi, and that's money off their wage bill.
Well, that's how, like I said, that's how they can do it, isn't it? Because this year it will show that they've sold 150, 60 million pounds worth of players and brought in players over 8-year contracts where it spreads the value of them across. So the value of what's in that year will be very similar to what they've offset with the sales. So it works, like you say, it works for now, but a few years down the line, they'll end up not being able to buy anyone because they're just consume so much of the transfers.
They will. They'll continue to break financial fair play. They'll start getting fines for like 5 million quid, 10 million quid. And if that's a club that's spending £1 billion, they aren't asked about a £10 million fine.
No.
Until you start docking people points or dropping them through the leagues, they will continue to take the piss.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, look at the signing Elise from Crystal Palace for 35 million.
Mm-hmm.
They've agreed a deal for a young Brazilian kid for 20 million quid. So there's another nearly £60 million on top of Caicedo, on top of Lavia as well. They're going to have spent nearly 450 million in this transfer window. Mm. And just because they're spreading it over 8-year contracts, that's fair and that's allowed. That's not allowed, because if that's the case, why aren't every club doing it?
Well, because you need the resource to do it, first of all. Not every football club's got £1 billion in cash, in liquid asset to pay out to clubs.
But then you think, all right, let's go with Liverpool, for example. Jude Bellingham. If we'd have said to Dortmund, right, we're going to pay you 115 million quid, which is what we were going to pay for Caicedo, we're going to pay you 115 million quid. Jude Bellingham, we want you on an 8-year contract, blah, 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 and do it that way. What's the problem?
Because that's not Liverpool's business model. Like, Chelsea have chose a really aggressive business model, which is high risk, but with high reward. So, and like I said, you know, it's a 2-year business plan. This model is not a 5 or a 10-year business plan. If Chelsea don't get back in the Champions League, they're fucked.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So
they should be.
It's wild.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out anyway, won't it? And how that looks. But yeah, I think desperately we need a CDM. Whether we get one and what qualities, you know, we'll see over the next coming weeks. But we definitely need somebody in that to bolster
just give Patrick Vieira a bell.
Yeah.
Makaleli, anyone like that.
Javier Mascherano.
Yeah, exactly.
So, go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, in terms of other things that happened this weekend, there were some big injuries as well, which I think will affect FPL, and we'll talk about that. But also, you know, in terms of the team. So, for example, De Bruyne out for 4 months. Massive that. First game of the season, came off after, it wasn't long, was it?
25 minutes.
Yeah, 25 minutes, out for 4 months. And unfortunately, that's probably quicker than normal, but he is out injured quite a lot throughout the season, and that's a biggie. First game.
He spent the last 6 or 7 games of last season nursing a hamstring injury to try and get him to the Champions League final. Wasn't great in that final because he wasn't fit.
No.
He's now injured to the point where they're like, right, enough's enough now. He's going to need some sort of surgery. But the fact that I know Man City are incredible, and we talked about it on a previous pod, they've got incredible players, incredible depth, but you've let Gundogan go. Your best player is now gone for 4 months. That surely will upset the apple cart a little bit in midfield.
Yeah, you would think so, yeah.
They've got to buy someone.
Do you think?
Yeah.
You don't think they've got enough in there with Foden, Grealish?
Rodri.
Grealish shouldn't a centre midfielder. So the centre midfielders they've got Kovacic,
Palmer.
Cole Palmer's a right-sided forward.
Yeah, but he's played centre before.
Yeah, but
Guardiola doesn't really believe in positions.
Yeah, but so you're thinking, who would play in that midfield? Kovacic, Rodri, Phillips, and Foden, maybe. Foden will play the De Bruyne role. That's it.
What about Bernardo Silva?
Bernardo Silva could play
predominantly
there.
a winger, but he could probably come in that centre mid because
They're
he's
more likely to bring him into the middle.
Yeah.
Out of everybody.
And that's the thing, though, that you're scratching, aren't you? You're scratching, thinking, oh well, they could put Foden there, or they could put Silva there.
I mean, it's nice scratching.
Yeah,
If you go to your bench and you've got fucking Foden, and you think, oh, I might put Bernardo. Like, you're all right. You're doing all right.
Yeah.
I don't think because they're not a panic buy club. I don't think they'll rush out and buy someone to replace him. I think they'll cope with what they've got, and if it doesn't work by January.
They'll probably put Stones in midfield, mate.
Yeah.
And push Rodri for more advanced. Like,
well, they're in talks with Paqueta from West Ham.
Yeah, that's been ongoing for a while, so there could be a replacement.
Another one.
Tyrone Mings, that looked like a bad one. I was watching Saturday Night Football, and you can tell by players' reactions whether they've just been fouled or whether they were in a bad way, and he was in a bad way.
Tyrone, if you're watching, get well soon.
Get well soon, kid.
It didn't even look that bad in real time, though, did it? It didn't look like
it's just jolted.
It just jolted.
Did it say what it is? Is it MCL, ACL? Yeah, cruciate ligaments.
Cruciate ligaments, yeah.
So he's probably going to be out for the rest of the season. He might get back after Easter, but that's a big miss for Villa.
Yeah,
I know
massive.
Villa got battered at Newcastle, but it was one of them games where when it went to 3-1, everyone just sort of, you know.
The thing is as well, you're asking. I know I went off on Pau Torres about how good he is. If it was Conser that went off injured and it was Pau Torres and Tyrone Mings, I don't think it'd be 5-1.
Yeah, maybe
because Mings is a far better defender than Conser is.
Yeah, better leader. And then you bring in Pau Torres next to him, it's not going to be 5-1. Yeah, you're probably right. And I think that's one of those games that could on a different day would have gone completely different. Because I don't think
it nearly went 2-2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think Villa on paper aren't as bad as a 5-1 defeat to Newcastle.
No, definitely not.
So it doesn't paint a full picture.
No.
On how that looks, but you boys, you said Wolves definitely going down, and they were pretty strong on Monday, weren't they?
I thought they looked very good against United, and I thought they were unlucky not to win the match.
Do you know Wolves' problem? Can't score goals.
Yeah, I know, but they've got that Cunha. He looked good.
Yeah, he did look really good.
They've got some players that were driving through midfield, and it might be because Man United is shit, but they really played well on Monday night. I thought they were unlucky not to get something from the game. Even without the bad VAR decision, they should have got something from the game.
They had enough chances to win the game.
But we did say in a previous podcast episode, before the Premier League started, by the way, me and Adam
Don't call me that.
both had Villa going down in our Premier League predictions, and
Wolves.
I think Wolves, yeah, not Villa. Keep saying Villa, don't I? Yeah, we've got Wolves to go down, but after seeing them play on Monday night, I think they might be absolutely A-OK.
Sounded weird. You calling me Adam, by the way.
Did it?
Don't like that.
And but did anything else shock you guys other than Wolves playing well and probably deserving to at least get a draw against United? Was anything else that surprised you in that?
No.
Nothing in the Premier League, but you know what did shock me? Harry Kane signing for Bayern Munich and making his debut on the same day that he signed.
That was mad how quick that happened, wasn't it? Like, you never see that anymore, do you? Like,
Yeah, but
really?
it'd been through a full pre-season with Spurs, like he was fit.
Yeah.
So, incidentally, they lost 3-0, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's mad though, isn't it? Yeah, he's gone there and everyone was
Spurs
like, oh, he's
effect.
going to get his first trophy in his first game, and
And
yeah,
then-
they got
and then-
spanked.
Did you
Daniel-
see the clip online where he went to the ref to complain and then realised he
Yeah.
didn't speak German?
Yeah, just kind of
Just
pedalled
stood
backwards.
there, gormless.
Back on injuries, we missed one. Timber as well. Arsenal.
Yeah, went down like a
New
tree.
signing. He's out for 4 months as well. We missed that guy. Go on, say it again.
He went down like a tree.
We.
I mean, I did watch that game, but I didn't see enough of him to say whether he's going to be a miss or not.
I didn't see the injury. I think he'll be a miss to him because he's a good player, but I didn't really see the injury. I don't really know what he's done.
We always assume anyone that comes in new to a club is going to be a miss to them because they bought him for a reason, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they must have had a gap for him.
Unless,
But yeah,
unless your name is Navigator,
did you get injured in the warm up?
he was never missed.
We could do with him now, though. To be fair,
I'll tell you what though.
even for 10 minutes.
I'll tell you what though. Speaking of missing players, there are a lot of players going to Saudi for big money.
Unreal, this league.
I mean, I'm available if they want to pay me some big money.
You'd have to pay them to leave.
That's fine.
Have to buy your own flight.
If they're going to pay me the mega bucks each week, I'll buy my own
You'll
flight.
cover it.
You'd
I'll
have
cover
to,
my flight.
you'd have to
yeah.
pay your own wages.
So what I'll say about this Saudi league is, it feels different to the Chinese Super League that happened sort of 10 years ago, where Hulk and players like that started going for stupid money, because I think eventually either the Chinese FA or the Chinese government stepped in and applied financial fair play to that league and essentially killed that league stone dead, because obviously none of the clubs were bringing in any revenue.
No.
So this feels different because I
Yeah.
feel like the Saudi government or the Saudi sheikhs,
Would never
because they
step
own
in.
the clubs, are not going to step in and enforce any sort of regulation to this. So I can only see this growing arms and legs. I think more players will definitely keep going over the next 6 to 12 months.
I think it's the Ronaldo effect. Ronaldo was the first player to go to Saudi from a massive footballing standpoint.
I'm not sure it is the Ronaldo
You've
effect,
seen that
'cause-
before, like in the MLS. Like a marquee player will go to the MLS, but it doesn't open the floodgates. What open the floodgates is Saudi have got a very aggressive economic model to improve their reputation on the world stage, and they're doing it through sport, doing it through live, they're doing it through football. They're trying to. It's called sports washing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they're doing it on a scale we've never seen. Like I think we saw a list earlier, like 30 players that had gone to Saudi who you would consider, world class.
Still enough to do it in the European leagues,
Yeah,
definitely.
But that's the thing, though. Yeah, the sports washing and stuff like that. The only reason I mention the Ronaldo effect is Ronaldo goes for big bucks. He's, 37, 38 years old. And people are seeing, he's Ronaldo, but he's earning massive money. And they're thinking, I want a bit of that. I want a bit of that. But then that's the difference with the MLS. The MLS can't pay huge amounts of money. I know Messi's gone to Inter Miami and stuff.
Yeah, but you can. It's similar to
they've
other American
they've
sports.
structured that
You can
deal.
have one franchise player.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas Saudi,
There's no limits there.
Neymar's gone to Saudi and he's getting 100 million quid or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's seen Ronaldo go there and think, I want some of that Saudi money.
I think if you asked Ronaldo, he'd probably think it's because of him why everyone's gone there, because that's the type of person he probably is. But I honestly don't. I think they're getting offers that they can't refuse, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, it is. And look at Jordan Henderson. So he'll have been on 120 grand a week at Liverpool. Immediately take 40% off that in tax.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting 60 grand a week, right? He's gone to Saudi where he won't pay much tax for 600 grand a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would say no to that when you're 31, 32?
Exactly.
You wouldn't, would you?
Don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say no to it at all.
So I think it's dangerous, but equally, just like how the Italian clubs was the league in the 90s that had mega bucks through the mafia, and they got all the world's best players. Then all the world's best players went to the Liga because the Liga had all the money. Then Premier League became the place that had all the money, so all the best players went to the Premier League. This is no different, and people shouldn't hide behind the fact that, oh yeah, but it's Europe. All you've got is the historical nostalgia of European leagues and the history of it. But them leagues, Italy, Spain and England, have done nothing different to exactly what Saudi are doing now. Players are going where the most money's available. It's as simple as that.
Do you remember when Russia did it as well?
Yeah, I remember that.
The Russian league did it as well, and that was before China, and then that died on its arse as well.
Yeah. But I don't, like I say, I don't think Saudi will step in. I think they'll just keep going.
Oh, of course it will, yeah.
If you think the Saudis have trillions of dollars, not billions, trillions of dollars, like 1,000 billion, right? It's impossible to spend that money. Even on the scale that you're spending now, you could build a squad full of Neymars and spend 200 billion.
I'd give it a go spending $1 trillion.
It's impossible.
Well, it's like I saw it on Twitter. I'm not sure if it was a fan or a press or something like that, but someone gave Fabinho a Rolex watch because he thought he played well. Like, you can't compete with that in European football. You're not going to get anybody from the UK giving a football player a Rolex watch.
Yeah,
it's mental.
I'd love to get a handshake. I'd love to get a handshake for doing my job well.
Yeah, anything like that. I'm going back to Neymar as well. So I screenshotted something from Twitter earlier because I don't know how true this is, but it's just
if it's
mental.
on Twitter, it's definitely
it's
true.
exactly. Yeah, you can't believe everything you got on there.
Is it in the Sun as well?
As part of his transfer, they've given him a house with 25 bedrooms, a swimming pool with 3 saunas, 5 full-time staff for his house, 3 cars, which is a Bentley Continental, an Aston Martin and Lamborghini Huracan, a 24-hour driver. I don't know why you need a 24-hour driver. So I'm sure you
what if you need some milk
at some point.
You need to pop to Tesco.
What if you want some McDonald's?
Fair play.
A halal McDonald's.
Yeah, true. All bills for hotels, restaurants and various services during his off days will be sent to the club headquarters, a private plane whenever he wants, £500,000 for each social media post that promotes Saudi Arabia, and then obviously £100 million a year.
Yeah,
obviously £100 million a year.
$500,000 for every Instagram post. Like,
I mean, there's no.
I'd be rich.
You can't compete with that, can you? If someone's offering you that,
yeah, of course not.
Like you say, there's not many people saying no.
The only thing that keeps you in Europe now, the only thing that European clubs have got left dangling to keep them is, it goes back to a little bit like we discussed in the last part about people that win majors. Yeah. Unless they let Saudi teams in the Champions League, that's what will keep players in Europe, because players want to win trophies that mean something. I don't want to win a Saudi league title.
No.
And you're right on this then. So like going to across to international football, if you've got some players in their prime playing something like the Saudi League or MLS, are they still a contention for their national team?
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Why? Why would
why
they?
Are you not allowed to play for your national team?
The reason I asked this is because the quality of football. So if you're playing in a European league, playing Champions League football, you're playing against the best teams in the world. Are you having a better experience and developing better in that environment?
I'll half concede it. It's similar to if you've got a player that gets relegated and is now playing Championship football. You're less likely to get paid for play for your national team, and that's the same. If you go to Saudi, you should be less likely to play, but it shouldn't mean you shouldn't play if you're good enough.
If you look at, let's say, Jordan Henderson, for example. Jordan Henderson's gone to Saudi. Gareth Southgate, in my opinion, is not going to pick Jordan Henderson for an England squad while he plays in Saudi, because the level of football that he's playing is nowhere near the Premier League.
Okay, let's get a bit deeper in that. Let's say it's not Jordan Henderson.
Okay,
let's say it's Jude Bellingham. Let's say Jude Bellingham's gone to Saudi. Does he get picked for England?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And this is what I was going to say. It's not just about the quality of football for someone like Henderson. It'll be his age, everything like that.
Yep.
Southgate could quite easily go, we're not picking Henderson because he's in his 30s now. We're
planning for the future.
Yeah.
So then flip it a different way. Emerick Laporte is going to Saudi from Man City.
Yeah.
Is he Spanish?
Spanish, yeah.
Is the Spanish manager going to pick Laporte, a 29-year-old in his prime centre-back, because he's playing in the Saudi league against some of the... I know some teams have good players and I get it, but the level of competition is nowhere near top European football. Is he going to get picked?
I think, again, for me on that front, it depends, because yes, he's only 29, so he's in his prime, but if there's other players of a similar calibre that are playing in Europe, I think they get picked over him. But what you talk about here is, like what Chris said there about Bellingham, someone who's a world-class talent will always still get picked regardless of what league they play in. But someone who's kind of on the fringe, it's easy for them not to be.
Will Mahrez still get picked for Algeria?
Well, yeah, because they've got no one else.
Yeah,
Exactly. So the quality of the nation influences it as well.
Yeah. So you've got
Ronaldo probably gets picked for Portugal if he wants to play at 38.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of variables.
Yeah, of course you have. But yeah, I do. Like I said, we're repeating ourselves, but half is it will reflect poorly on you, and I think you're less likely to get picked, but I think players will still get picked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair...
Yeah. Neymar will still get picked for
course
Brazil,
he will, yeah.
playing in Saudi.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So Saudis are taking over the world, but what I want to talk about is the main two subjects of the pod.
Right.
So we set ourselves a challenge, just to set the scene. We set ourselves a challenge, 2 challenges we set ourselves because we couldn't agree. So challenge 1 was for us to pick our all-time Premier League 11, which we've done, and no one's seen each other's. And then the second one was to pick our best ever World 11, irrelevant of what league they've played in, just the best team you can put together in the world ever. Of any era, it doesn't matter. Well, obviously, based on our age, will influence what we've picked.
Yeah,
so I think we
massively.
should kick off with our all-time Premier League 11.
And we'll go around everyone first, then go back through the world, yeah?
Yeah, let's do Prem first.
So before we do this, I just think we should just name the formation, name the players, and then
then feedback.
we don't need to say I've picked Ashley Cole because blah blah blah.
Yes, yeah.
Let's do all
Name
the
it.
teams, then we'll discuss
Yes.
it.
So, Christian,
Okay.
do you want to kick off with your
for it.
all-time Premier League 11? Just equally as well, can you just tell us, so I can build a picture in my mind, can you tell us the formation as well?
Yeah, so, and just before I do this, let me say that this is very, very difficult because I think you could pick 3 or 4 full 11s of quality players.
That's
that
the
been in
whole
Prem.
point.
But
Challenge.
It is, and I just want that to be said. So, my formation,
So your team's shit then.
4-2-3. Well, I'm just waiting for the
Go
feedback.
on.
4-2-3-1. So 1 striker, 3 behind, 2.
Yeah, you know what 4-2-3-1 is, yeah?
You said you wanted to paint the picture. I'm just helping
As
you
soon as
paint
you
it.
say 4-2-3-1, the picture's painted.
This is for non-footballing listeners.
Yeah, this is inclusive.
Fair point.
Inclusive.
I retract my comments.
Yeah, well. So, goalkeeper, Schmeichel. I've gone for right back,
Hang on, which Schmeichel are you talking about?
Casper, obviously.
Premier League winner.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Right back, Ivanovic.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone for centre-backs, Terry and Ferdinand.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley Cole at left-back.
Who's Terry Ferdinand?
Are you going to say this all the way through?
Sorry.
Specifically with instructions not to interrupt.
I know,
Sorry.
I know. So my 2 sort of midfielders, CDMs, whatever you want to call them, I've gone for Vieira and Gerrard.
Uh-huh.
And then my 3 behind the striker, I've gone for Salah, De Bruyne, Henry,
Right.
and up top, big Luis Suarez.
Wow.
Are you fucking
Luis
serious?
Suarez up front. That's madness.
Are you
So
fucking
no
serious?
Kane and no Shearer up front.
No, gone
That
for
is
Suarez.
crazy. I was worried about your team. Now I'm not.
That is arguably
What do you mean he's worried? Up
I was
to that
worried your
point,
team might be stronger than mine, but it's not.
worse than your fantasy team.
Also, Ivanovic at right back, bold.
I couldn't go for Neville. Just couldn't go for him. So I had to go for someone else. Didn't want to go for Neville.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll give you 7 out of 10 for that team. Bullis, what's your team?
I can't believe you don't think Suarez.
No,
I mean, he was
definitely
great for 2 seasons. I loved him, but the best ever striker in the Premier League.
The impact.
I mean, everything else was pretty solid, though. Like, everything else I can't really argue with. Everything else was bang on, to be fair. But Ivanovic and Suarez, for me, are the weaknesses there.
So, I'm playing a 3-4-3.
Okay.
How's that look?
3, 4, and then 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
cool.
get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
So-
sense now.
Yeah.
So in goal, Petr Cech.
Okay.
My 3 centre back.
Whoa. Petr Cech, pre-helmet or after helmet?
Pre-helmet. I've seen that porno.
My 3 centre backs: John Terry, Vidic, and Rio Ferdinand.
Solid.
My midfield 4 is Ryan Giggs, Steven Gerrard, Patrick Vieira, and David Beckham.
Okay. Gone for a bit of width there.
And then my front 3 are Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer, and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo pre-Spain.
I don't get that.
I think he was good at United, but he won not in. I mean,
not if you're looking at all-time Prem. Yeah,
Mate, you can't say anything. You've got Luis Suarez up front.
I don't get the Giggs and Beckham either. Great players, but
you can't argue with a team that won like 8 Premier League titles.
So you have Nicky Butt in there as
Giggs
well.
and Beckham, but incidentally, so far there's been no Scholes and no Lampard.
Yeah, because
but like you said, there's been no Rooney in your teams either.
I think Vieira and Gerrard are better. What would you give my team out of 10?
6.
I would give your team out of 10 8.
It's not better
I think
than
it's
mine.
stronger than his.
No way.
It is because you've got Ivanovic and Suarez in yours.
How is my team not stronger than yours?
It's just not.
Are you ready for
I would say it's a 7 as well.
You've got Peter Schmeichel in goal, for fuck's sake.
Are you ready?
Class.
Are you ready for mine?
Go on.
So mine's 4-2-3-1.
Can you tell me how that looks?
No. So in goal, I've gone for Alisson.
That's a shaky start.
It's not shaky at all.
It is.
Definitely not.
Okay. No interruptions. Let's carry on.
I'll explain Alisson at the end.
Okay.
Left back Ashley Cole.
Yeah, standard.
Centre backs I've gone for John Terry and Virgil van Dijk, and right back I've gone for Kyle Walker. I've got my two holding midfielders are Gerrard and Vieira, and then my 3 behind the strikers is Henry on the left, De Bruyne attacking mid, and Salah on the right.
Have you two been?
That's the same.
Have you two been in
same
collusion?
midfield,
And my striker is Shearer. And I don't know how you can deny that because it's either Kane or Shearer, and Shearer scored 270 goals. Like. There's no.
We'll discuss it now, but
discuss it now. There's no weakness in my team.
So tell us about Alisson then.
So Alisson, I'm thinking Petr Cech, great shot stopper. Schmeichel, great shot stopper. Alisson, everything. Distribution, incredible. The best keeper in the world at one-on-ones. Good shot stopper. The rest are just good shot stoppers. He does everything. He's the best keeper in the world, and he's the best keeper in the Prem.
I don't disagree if he's the best keeper in the world at this current stage, but I don't know whether he would make many people's all-time Prems.
If you're thinking of all-time Premier League 11, and you're talking about a guy who has won 1 title.
Can't say that though, because Shearer's only won 1 title and he's the best striker in the history. 70 goals clear of Kane.
Because he scored the most goals.
Yeah.
Alisson Becker has won 1 Premier League title. Scored a goal against West Brom.
Yeah, but what you've got to understand is...
I mean, that goal was amazing, though. It was worthy of it, that.
What you look for in a keeper now is completely different to what you looked for in a keeper 10 years ago. You look for someone who could make saves and was commanding.
I think
and that's why checking Schmeichel. But now,
things,
if you're a keeper that cannot play football, you are not playing for a top side.
Who would you rather have in your Premier League team? Edison or Alisson?
Alisson. Because Alisson's better at what is the best in the world at one-on-one situations.
Yeah. But Edison's got better distribution.
He has. But Edison is a bit wild, a bit crazy. He makes mistakes, and he's not as good at shot stopping as Alisson.
I get that. I get what you're saying.
I understand that.
I think you're right. I think in the current climate, you're looking for a ball-playing keeper. And he is that person, same as Edison. There's not many keepers around now of that kind of calibre.
You're basically looking for a sweeper.
Yeah. So talk about Van Dijk.
The only other 2 you scoffed at, the rest you felt was pretty solid. The only 2 you scoffed at was Van Dijk and Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
So Van Dijk Vidic, Ferdinand complement each other, sort of build each other out. There was a great partnership. Van Dijk's had no one next to him that's worth any note. He's had Matip, he's had Kanate, he's had Gomez, right? So he hasn't had the privilege of playing with a Terry or a Ferdinand next to him, right? So he's got that. Terry had Carvalho, Ferdinand had Vidic, Van Dijk's been on his own. And there was a period of about 3 seasons where Virgil van Dijk was unplayable. Like, you never won. He never lost a header. No one ever beat him in a one-on-one situation. He was literally unplayable. I've never seen a centre-back that good. Prime Van Dijk, I'm going to get slated for this. Prime Van Dijk is as good as Prime Ferdinand.
Wow. Because
Ferdinand was the first of his kind where he could also pass about a bit. But Van Dijk can pass about it. The only reason I'm going to get backlash is because people have short-term memories, and right now Virgil van Dijk's been off it for about a year. So people will be like, he's fucking talking shit. But 2017 to 2020, Van Dijk was unreal. Do you agree or not?
Yeah, I agree.
And he had no one helping him.
But then this is like what you're saying a minute ago. So I say Suarez at top of my thing, but you're saying he was unbelievable for 2 seasons, but that was it. it's the same with Van Dijk. He was unbelievable for 2 seasons, and other than that, he's not memorable.
Well, no, because with Van Dijk as opposed to Suarez, when Van Dijk was unplayable, I don't think anyone had ever been at that level before, whereas people have been at Suarez's level before.
I disagree.
Plus, Van Dijk don't bite people and he's not a racist.
I mean, I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Also,
Don't help his profile. That
anyone watching, put a comment on what you think about our teams and say which team's the best and why it's mine.
It's like you say, like, absolutely Shearer.
I'll post them up actually when we're talking
Yeah.
about them so you can see them.
Shearer, if you're going by goals, absolutely best striker ever in the Premier League, but a complete different striker to Suarez, a complete different striker to Rooney, a completely different striker.
And this is where he fits the three that we're saying, because you've got width with Henry and Salah. You've got people putting balls in like De Bruyne and Gerrard. Shearer would score 40 a season.
Yeah, but mate, you've got Rooney, Kane, Shearer,
Scholes, Lampard.
but those 3 forwards are way in front of Luis Suarez. Not only just them 3, a number of other strikers are way in front of Luis Suarez.
I can't believe you scoffed at Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
I didn't scoff at Kyle Walker.
I did.
Because what I'd say is Neville was a great defender, but that's all he could do. Walker has pocketed the world's best players. He's rapid. Yeah, he's not as good. I was torn between him and Trent because Trent's unbelievable going forward, but Trent's defensively a mess.
Yeah.
The thing
So
is,
that's why I've gone for Walker. 'Cause Walker can defend and attack. And I know it's not the Prem, it's the Champions League, but last season he pocketed Vinicius Junior, Neymar. He pocketed the best players in the world.
the thing is, Kyle Walker's got longevity as well. You seem to forget before Man City, he was class at Tottenham.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Kyle Walker, and I think it's a great shout to have him in there.
Did you play back 3 or back 4?
4.
So did you have it right back?
Ivanovic. But Ivanovic was consistently class and stable for Chelsea for a number of years.
Yeah, he was.
Throughout their times when they won stuff, when they didn't win stuff, he was always consistent. Every manager that came into Chelsea played him. He was captain. I think he's a solid right back. He's not your traditional right back now. He's not your ball playing right back. He's not your one that's going to do overlaps or going to whip the ball in. But he's a solid right back.
I'm not being funny. Azpilicueta would have been a better choice than Ivanovic.
Gail Clichy.
Dilo Brown.
Deal Brown.
Steve Finnan.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll jump on to our World 11s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so obviously people let us know in the comments. Like I say, we'll have put the image of our teams up here.
So you go first.
So shall I go
Yeah,
first
may as
on
well go
World
back this
11?
way, yeah.
So this is World 11. So just to clarify, this can be any era, any team, any nationality, any league.
Yep.
So in goal, so my formation is 4-4. You can call it either a 4-3-3 or you can call it a 4-1-2-3. 4-2-1-3.
What are you calling it?
I'll call it a 4-3-3 then.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Alisson Becker in goal.
Trent at right back.
Van Dijk and Gomez in the middle.
Andy Roberts at left back.
So, interestingly, no one in my Prem 11 has made it into my world of all that time 11.
I'm not surprised.
I
You
am.
know.
I am.
Okay, so in goal, I've gone for Buffon. In goal. I don't think that's even questionable.
No.
Left back, I've gone for Roberto Carlos. Right back, I've gone for Cafu.
Yep.
I just don't think there's been wing backs like it.
I've
ever.
got a feeling our World 11s are going to be very, very similar.
I agree.
In the middle, 2 centre backs, I've gone for Maldini and Cannavaro.
Ooh.
Great shout.
Unbelievable. And then my holding midfielder is Claude Makelele.
What a shout that is.
Then my 2 sort of attacking / centre mids is Zinedine Zidane and Messi. Messi's more advanced than Zidane. Zidane's banging the centre and Messi's more attacking. And then I'm playing a front 3. On the right wing forward is Maradona. The playing on the left is Portuguese Ronaldo. And playing up front is the Brazilian Ronaldo. That's literally the best team in the world, ever. Without question. Unless you're an older person, you might want to whack in Beckenbauer and Pele. But other than that, that's the greatest team of all time.
I think there's a couple you've missed.
Fucking hell.
I've got
that would displace them.
Luis Suarez.
I'll put them up.
Ivanovic.
Okay, so what about your World 11?
So my World 11 is also 4-3-3.
Interesting.
I don't remember Maradona, so I've not put him in.
Fair.
So I've only gone for the people that I remember.
Okay.
Which is fair. I think that's what we've all done, haven't we?
Is Ivanovic in this?
No. So I've also got Buffon.
Yep.
I've also got Roberto Carlos.
Yep.
I've also got Paolo Maldini.
Yep.
And I've also got Cafu.
Great show. You know your stuff, kid.
However, instead of Fabio Cannavaro, I've got Sergio Ramos.
I mean, interesting.
Sergio Ramos.
Your team's going down to 10 after 10 minutes.
Sergio Ramos, his career at Real Madrid is second to none.
Great player. Cannavaro, though, the only centre-back ever
To win the Ballon d'Or.
d'Or.
I was torn between Sergio Ramos, Cannavaro and Alessandro Nesta.
Yeah, Nesta's on the show. You could shout any of the Italian centre-back.
So, my midfield three are Pirlo,
Nice.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Xavi
Okay.
Yep.
and Zidane.
Yep.
And
Xavi ahead of Iniesta.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought Xavi was a better footballer. But again, toss it between the two. And then my front three is Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo and Brazilian Ronaldo.
Can't really argue with that, can you?
Can't really argue with that. Your only questionable one. And no, it's not even questionable, but the only questionable one is obviously I went for Makelele and you went for Pirlo. Pirlo wasn't as defensively minded, so it might leave you back four a bit exposed.
But you could switch between Xavi and Pirlo. Xavi does a defensive role and he just plays it simple. Pirlo's your deep line playmaker and could just create anything.
Just don't think you've got a player that could break play down.
Anyway, I still think it's a strong team, though.
Oh, I mean, great team.
That's what Sergio Ramos does.
Just by hacking people to death.
Breaks legs and breaks up play.
Yeah, breaks hearts.
I don't think there'll be any major surprise in this one for you guys.
Have you got Ivanovic right back?
No. So, again, Buffon,
Yep.
Yeah,
Cafu.
No question.
Yep.
Carlos,
Yep.
Maldini,
Fucking hell, yep.
and I've gone Nesta. I went Nesta.
Any one of them.
Any one of the three?
Yeah, I went Nesta. Formation, by the way, is 4-2-3-1 again.
Okay.
So, my two centre mids, I've gone for Gerrard and Zidane.
Gerrard.
Gerrard, all-time
What?
greatest midfielder.
Biased.
Are you fucking nuts?
Gerrard is unbelievable,
Are
mate.
you fucking nuts?
I don't understand. Do you not think Gerrard was unbelievable? Look at everything he did in that Liverpool squad when he had Igor Bishkan around him and
Mate.
people like that.
Yeah, it was a very good player, yeah.
Mate, I'm you could
Zidane even said he was the best player he's ever played
Yeah,
with.
but look, if you think about the players you've put him in ahead of, that's where it gets hard to judge.
No, I'm sticking with it.
You've got Steven Gerrard in front of Andre Pirlo,
Yep.
Claude Makelele,
Yeah.
Xavi, Iniesta,
Yeah.
Fernando Hierro, Clarence Seedorf,
Well, put it this way.
Edgar Davids.
Put it this way: Pirlo was technically very, very good, but does he defend as well as attack?
No.
Does Steven Gerrard defend as well?
Gerrard can defend and attack.
Fuck off.
Gerrard's a box to box. He can run back and defend.
Are you eating too many
protect.
jalapenos?
Protect that back four, but he can also bomb forward, pick a pass, score a goal. I think he's got more in him than he's more versatile than some of the other players that you talked about.
Who's your three behind the striker?
So three behind the striker is Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Ronaldinho.
I loved Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho is my favourite all-time player.
Yeah, great player.
Love to watch him.
Right, so I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Ronaldinho or Rivaldo?
They were both
Ronaldinho.
unbelievable players.
They were,
But Ronaldinho probably edged it, but Rivaldo was world class as well.
I think when you look at if you talk about players who changed the game, Ronaldinho, I'd never seen someone with so much skill as Ronaldinho.
That 94 to 98 Brazil team was just fucking
Who's classed
nuts.
in it?
It was just the nuts.
That could be your World XI, couldn't it? Just that Brazil
God.
team.
Who's your forward?
Forward Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It's got to be on it.
It's got to be Brazilian Ronaldo.
So
Mate, do you know what as well? I've just thought of another name. You've put Steven Gerrard in front of Kaka.
yeah.
I would put Steven Gerrard
Yeah.
ahead of Kaka.
What?
My thought process was around it is that if I want a box to box midfielder, Gerrard's got it all. He's got it all.
Who's going to defend in your team?
Gerrard. And my defenders.
So when we compare the three teams, right, we've all defensively got it pretty bang on.
Yeah.
Striker, bang on.
You've got some, striker bang on. So at the front three, everyone's got Ronaldo and Messi in there. The only real bones of contention are sort of in the centre and maybe holding midfield where we've gone for slightly different variations. The only reason my team is better is because my team's got Maradona in it.
Yeah, but you're old enough to have seen Maradona.
And I don't think I could sell it to you. He was unbelievable.
I'm sure he was, but I never fucking saw him play.
Exactly, which makes my team the winner.
The only time I saw him play was World Cup '94 when he was coked up off his face.
How good was Maradona on coke? He was great. He was like 50, but because he'd had a gram, he was taking players on. Unbelievable.
Was he your idol?
No, because obviously I was born 83, so I vaguely remember sort of 86, but I remember him at Italia 90. And I also remember him playing for Napoli as well, because Serie A used to be on Channel 4. And the best way I can describe him is he was the 80s version of Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
He was just unbelievable with the ball. The ball stuck to him like Velcro. You couldn't get it off him.
Yeah.
He was an horrible player, though. Dirty bastard. Like, horrible.
I will say, if you've got any comments about what you think about these teams as well, pop it in the chat and let us know why, again, my team's the best. But I have just been thinking, I've thought of another forward that is far better than Luis Suarez in your awful Premier League team. Sergio Aguero.
Yeah, great shout.
But there's Didier Drogba, Sergio Aguero.
So why the fuck have you put Luis Suarez in
Van
there?
Nistelrooy,
Why have you
Van
put
Persie?
Why have you put Luis Suarez in there?
Rose tinted glasses.
I just think when I look back, and look, yes, I know Shearer, and a lot of his prime time was when I was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
So I'm looking back at somebody who's made me go, that is unbelievable, and someone that excited me to watch him every time he stepped on that pitch and made a difference. And those couple of years that Suarez was with us, unbelievable.
That's the only thing.
That time.
And I know stats can lie in football, but when you talk about the striker position, goals don't lie.
Yeah,
like that's what you're paid to do. So the fact that you haven't got Rooney, Kane, or Shearer up front is very questionable. Or Aguero.
But then do you do goals per game?
No, you just do fucking goals.
I mean, look, yeah, I get it, Shearer, but he's obviously in the Premier League for a long time and he's got the most goals, same with Kane. But then do you start looking at goals to game ratio and stuff like that? Does that make you a better striker?
What was Suarez's goals to game ratio?
I don't know.
Right, okay.
I'm not saying it because I know that it was better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're looking at goals, you then start to look at other things and go, well, actually, goals to games and how long you spent in there.
Could go against you because, like, if you think about Gareth Bale within the league.
And again, he was unbelievable as
well. But then you
he?
look at longevity. Luis Suarez was in the league for what, 2 years? He's in the league for 2 years. Aguero was in the league for 8 or 9 years.
I don't disagree with you.
Shearer was the same. Rooney was the same. Kane was the same.
That's how close it is, though, isn't it? Like,
okay,
you could chop and change anyone.
So, question for you, which can sort of close off this pod nicely, and people can say, if you can only take one for your team, who are you taking?
I'd take one for the team.
Out of Kane, Aguero, Henry, and Shearer.
Henry.
You're taking Thierry Henry
all day, every day, twice on a Sunday.
I think we've spoke about this before, but the things he did in that league, he just taught everyone apart. He was leaps and bounds above anybody.
It was unplayable.
Yeah,
Thierry Henry is arguably the best foreign player to ever play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
What about Andrei Kanchelskis? About Sergei Rebrov?
Jimmy Traore.
Great player, Jimmy Traore.
I think if you want for Brazilian Ronaldo, Henry was probably one of the best strikers ever.
Yeah, and you can often say by what the pros say as well. Like Jamie Carragher was like, he was fearful for his life when he played Henry and stuff like that. It says a lot.
His pace was electric, wasn't it? Like at that time, pacey footballers wasn't really
he was
the
making
game,
a mockery of players.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, he was so strong.
Yeah.
He could do it all. He had strength, he had pace, he could finish with both feet. It was just absolutely ridiculous.
Helped that he was in an Arsenal team that was unbelievable as well.
Yeah, I mean that midfield.
Perez, Ljungberg,
Overmars, Petit Vieira,
God,
Bergkamp, unbelievable.
It was also better than Luis Suarez, by the way.
Incidentally, as well, I remember when they asked Thierry Henry who was the greatest player he's ever played with, and he said Dennis Bergkamp, not Messi.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Bergkamp was a genius.
Yeah, he was.
Crazy. So that's it, guys. That's the end of the football pod, where I'm sure we've created a lot of debate. So, like I said, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop your team in the comments, and we'll find out if you've got a better suggestion than us. So that's it. We're going to sign out, and we will see you on the next pod.
Cheers, guys.